فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In the Quran we have a verse which tells us what two types of ayahs and what two types of statements the Quran makes. هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن أم الكتاب وأخرى متشابهات. Allah says that Allah is the one who revealed this book, and in it there are some ayahs, some of the sentences, some of the statements that are absolutely definitive. You can't make any other, there's no other way of interpreting them but understand them as they are. Okay? Then there are وَأُخَرَ مُتَشَابِهَاتٍ. Then there are others which are metaphors. Which are? Metaphors. Meaning that they are not clear, they're ambiguous. It's wrong to say they're not clear. They're actually ambiguous. They have multiple meanings. Okay? I want you to understand this principle. It's really important. So there are Hunnul Ummul Kitab, the definitive verses. From this, the ulama derive what are known as the faraiz, the obligatory duties. Okay? So this is a really important basis of Islamic law, that all the obligations, all the compulsory acts that we have to do are based on what? On the muhkamat, on the definitive verses. Their meanings is clear, absolutely clear. Jan. So when Allah says, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allah is, you can't say He's 1.5, 2 or 3. Okay? You can't, He's what? It is so definitive. Alright? And same with, the things like atuz zakat. You must give zakat. There's no other way of saying that, marzi wait hai. You can choose. No, it's very clear. Allah is giving a command. This is imperative. This is an imperative. So those are known as the Ummul Kitab. They are the very basis of our deen, and they form what are known as the faraid. They are also what constitutes our wajibat, the necessities of religion as well. Okay? And they're not many. The rest are all actually mutashabihat. They are metaphorical, figurative in their meanings. Okay? Metaphor is a very powerful way of expressing ourselves. We always are using metaphors. Okay? If you want to describe somebody's bravery, you say that, Sajid is a lion. What do you say?
Sajid is a lion.
Okay? You don't say he is like a lion. You say he is a
lion.
And he's not a lion. He hasn't got 4 legs. He hasn't got a tail. He's not vicious. Okay? So, but what is about it? Well, one thing that we know about the lion is that it is actually very courageous. Because it's so powerful, it actually does reckless things. A brave person doesn't do that, but it's just comparing with that particular quality of bravery, of courage, of power with him. Are you with it? That's called a metaphor. And I want you, to just think about this. I'm using this iceberg metaphor for fasting. It's a very powerful tool actually. Now you can Google it and see iceberg metaphor. It's really a powerful way of describing something, all right? And I believe this is really, many of us think when we fast, what do we think? We think, oh, it's, during Ramadan, I will get up for my sehri. I won't eat and drink, okay? I will not, I'll stay hungry and thirsty. I will also pray 5 times, inshallah. Most of us, at least, and then some of us will say we will pray Taraweeh as well, okay? End of Ramadan, eh? Is that it? That is Ramadan. That is fasting. Is it? Well, this is where the iceberg metaphor will help you to understand. This is what many people think, that this is what Ramadan is, doing that. But, an iceberg, what is an iceberg? I had a privilege of actually seeing and being very close to an iceberg in Greenland. This is about 12 years ago when we were on an interfaith conference, and we were taken actually off the coast of Greenland into the sea, and the ship was anchored near an iceberg, which was actually melting. The point they wanted to show us was, look, the ice is melting, the poles are actually melting, the sea level is rising, okay? It's not a con, as sadly many people thought it was. But the point is, the iceberg, what you see at the top, is only a fraction of what is under the sea. So if you look at this, I've shown you the tip at the top where you have those ideas of fasting. But what is underneath it, just look at that. The sea. Under this iceberg of your fasting is what? Your intention to become muttaqi. What is your intention, all of you, to become?
Muttaqi.
Can you all say muttaqi?
Muttaqi.
I hope it is, if it isn't, I hope you make it now. Make the intention that through fasting I want to become
Muttaqi.
Allah fearing, God conscious, aware, attentive, and somebody who is focused, who is mindful. That's what muttaqi means. Do you want to become that?
Yes.
I'm sure many of you will have that. The next is to gain the nearness of the Lord. The taqarrub ila Allah. Isn't that one of the other intentions we have?
Yes.
Yes, but it's no good having it somewhere deep in the subconscious where you're not even aware of it. No. It's got to come to the surface, in your conscious. In fact, on your tongue even. That is one of the powerful ways of realizing your deep felt ideas and thoughts. When you put them on your tongue, they then become a much bigger reality. Is everybody with me here? Yes. So that is why, don't just say, yes, No, it's got to be on the surface now. Avoid gossiping, okay? Don't listen to wrong things, okay? And that, of course, I think that could that be barring nearly 95% of your social media? It might do. So I hope, you'll be able to control that, So control your eyes. Be careful with what you eat at aftari time, Put trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have that tawakkul ala Allah, okay? As you feel hungry, thirsty, tired, exhausted, put your trust in Allah that, I'm doing it because my Lord has said it is. And it is good for me, I know that. And then you have,
character development.
Yes, your character is developing. Here, your patience, the sense of waiting, the sense of not complaining to anybody but Allah. That's really interesting. You can complain to Allah. You can complain to Allah. Yes. तेरी बंदा परवरी से ज़िंदगी के दिन गुज़र रहे हैं ना गिला है दोस्तों से ना शिकायत ज़माना. I'm not going to complain to time. I'm not going to complain to my friends, but I will talk to my Lord. I will talk to my Allah. Yes. He is the one, who, and that is actually patience. When you do mention that, because somebody has been nasty to me, Ya Allah. You talk to Allah. Ya Allah, help me. I put trust in you. That is tawakkul. Also, it is true sabr. Okay? That is real sabr, jana. Okay? And then, but there are many other beautiful qualities in character development that you are at this very moment nurturing as you are fasting. It is also empathy you are developing, or more precisely, kindness. Feeling for others. As you feel hungry, I hope you'll be able to identify with the hungry people, with those who are starving, those who are suffering at this very moment in different parts of the world, and particularly in Gaza. This makes you feel, and therefore it drives you to do something about it, deliver something, inshallah, to them, Jannah. It's also about cleansing ourselves from evil, which very simply is what? Tawbah. Tawbah is what? Inna Allah yuhibbu at-tawwabin wa yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin. Allah loves those, who do tawbah, who cleanse themselves physically, but most importantly, nowadays, mashallah, we're very good at our physical cleanliness. You just need to look at Gregory Boulevard and Radford Road. When I came here in 1985, we used to have one barber called Miles. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
You remember Miles, yes. But now how many do you have on Radford Road?
He's been great.
About 20? And even there was nobody on Gregory Boulevard, but even there you've got several. What does that mean? And not only that, but I noticed we have boutique shops, for beautifying, people having their nails cut. And it's just amazing, that. And even small houses with their boutiques. What does that show you? We are becoming very conscious of our physical appearance. Okay? It's okay, I'm not complaining about it, but let me teach you something what Rasulullah said. He said, whenever you look into the mirror, pray, Allahumma anta hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi. Ya Allah, you made me very beautiful. Allah, you made me
very beautiful.
Now make my character beautiful. Make my
character beautiful.
Subhanallah. I hope that gives you confidence. Those of you, who think I've got a big nose, I've got big ears, I haven't got a symmetrical face, my complexion isn't good, I've got pimples, freckles. Don't be silly. Put trust in Allah. What Allah has made you, ahsan at-taqweem. Allah declares, I have made you in the most beautiful form. Allah says, I've made you beautiful. The Prophet ﷺ says, you are beautiful. What's your problem with you? And I hope you can see, this nonsense that is going on. But, and those people forget this outward cleanliness is good. Outward appearance, looking good is good, Jannah. Even the Quran says that when you come to the masjid, the Quran says what you should do is, you should decorate yourself. Dress well, okay? So that's good. But we're talking about something else. Are you conscious of your inner cleanliness? Are you doing tawbah? When you do gana, when you have wrong thoughts and ideas, or you committed a sin, have you done tawbah? Have you done astaghfirullah? And have you turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? But more than that, it's about improving your character. Have you got rid of the anger in you? The arrogance, big-headedness, haughtiness? Have you got rid of your belligerence? Okay, picking fights and also hamza lamza, looking at people's faults and mistakes all the time. Have you got rid of that? Hey, and that's a very important question. Have you got rid of all those evils that we have? And now, of course, you're going to be, inshallah, generous. This is one of the great characteristics of Ramadan. This is just, Imam Ghazali says. This is really from Imam Ghazali's idea of the 3 grades of fasting. The ordinary person's fasting. My dear son there, my dear young boy in the blue jubba. Adnan se kaho ke khamosh, please. Yes, you don't talk here, no? Yes, and please sit down and listen to the khutbah. Those of you who come late, yeah, no. So. Imam Ghazali talks about the 3 grades, the fasting of the ordinary, which is the top part, okay? Then what is beneath the sea, okay? That is, he says, this is extraordinary. Do you want to make your fast, do you want to keep your fast an ordinary fast, habitual fasting, ritualistic fasting, or do you want to move to the next stage? Do you want to move to the next stage, Ijaz?
Yes.
Which is what? Extraordinary fasting. This is, this blue under the sea, the real body of your iceberg. That is, what really constitutes you becoming the, extraordinary. Now, where do we get this idea of ordinary, extraordinary, and the elite? Then, the third stage, Imam Ghazali says, is to be the fast like the elite. Fast like the elite, yeah, no? And what is that fasting of the elite? And Hassan Basri radiallahu ta'ala anhu once passed by some people in the month of Ramadan, and he saw they were, he heard them laughing, okay? They were jovial, enjoying themselves. And, he said, this month is like the race course. It's like the
Race course.
Yes. And in the race course, what happens? There are lots of horses running, okay, competing, racing with one another. There are those who are winners and those that are losers. And he says, you should be thinking about becoming the winners. And what is really hinting to perhaps is قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Believers are successful, those who are attentive and focused on their worship. Those who are focused on their worship, they are the winners. Perhaps he's alluding to that. Look, this is a month in which you should really be thinking about doing more worship rather than, having this fun and enjoying yourself like this there, no? Okay? So, what is it that, will make your fast really of the elite? And in my, this week's Friday Reflections, I've got a quote from Imam Ghazali here. I'm going to read it to you. So I hope those of you who haven't got the Friday Reflections, I hope you will get it from our website and read it. So, he says, this is what, he says that the ordinary fast is the ritualistic and the outward fasting, the one we've just seen there. Okay, I'll get up for seri and I'll do this, okay? Stop eating, drinking, and then, but a habitual form of fasting that the global community of 1.7 billion Muslims does. This is sadly, most of us do. No? Extraordinary fasting means keeping the ears, eyes, tongue, hands and feet under your control and all the senses free from sin. Elite fasting is the fasting of the heart. Listen to this. Elite fasting is the fasting of the heart from the unworthy concerns and the worldly thoughts, in total disregard of everything but God, in total disregard of everything besides Allah. If we are thinking about Aftari kis tarah hosi, kun karasi, kya hosi usne vich, that of course already has degraded your fasting there, to perhaps the ordinary. Okay, and then he says it is a spiritual state that comes through physical acts. The elite fast is broken by mere thought of the worldly matters. The prophets and the saints belong to this third category. It can't be described in words. It must be experienced through dedication to Allah and turning away from everything other than Him. Say, it is Allah, then leave them to amuse themselves. Okay? وَزَرْهُمْ, the Quran says. The point is here very simply that we should be, just like we are carrying out these physical outward activities, our heart should now be focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But of course, when we're working, a lot of the time we can't do that. That is why you need this quiet time of hour and a half of Taraweeh. That long tiredness, you're exhausted, and it's really so good to see that our masjid is nearly full, mashallah. And I know most of you will have done 8 or 9 hours of hard work. And then standing for an hour and a half after fasting, working, that is really commitment, mashallah. And I pray that Allah makes us amongst those elite people of elite fasting, inshallah. But it requires that change of heart and thoughts. I hope you will also be focusing on that taqarrub ilallah, nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and gaining His pleasure. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.